access to Pupil Path, but we hope that everyone has been able to create a Pupil Path account, and that is giving you access to the messages that we send to all students, some cases all families and students, or just families, but it's really important that both the student and the family have an account. Ms. McCarr, our wonderful parent coordinator who set up the orientation today for everybody, is the person to see if you have any questions about your Pupil Path account. And that's where you'll get to see your grades, your attendance, your exams, and that's really our main communication system and the way for you to check in on your progress. In order to use the Google Classroom, which is our remote learning platform, you will all be assigned a Gmail account. The digits are forthamiltonhighschool.org. Those will be available to you. Actually, it's being worked on right now. We were hoping tomorrow, but we'll be sending out a message if it's ready tomorrow, but it should be available for you on Monday, no later than Monday. And you want to activate your Gmail account so that once you get invitations from teachers on Tuesday to join their Google Classrooms, you're able to accept. And we want to make sure you're all ready to engage with your teachers for all the periods of your day starting on the 16th. So make sure, number one, you have a Pupil Path account. Number two, you have activated your Fort Hamilton Gmail account. And then on Tuesday, you have logged in and you've seen and accepted the invitations from all of your teachers for their Google Classroom. So those are just some logistics to make sure we're all able to start together on the 16th. But just a brief overview. I mean, you know, we're a big school. We have 6 cohorts. 1 is fully remote, and that number is, you know, adjusting somewhat every day, but we hope you've been able to make that decision for what is best for your family about whether you want the blended model or coming into the building once a week or fully remote at home. So there will be a digit in all of your course codes. So if it's an English class, the 8th digit will always be A if you are coming as a blended student on Mondays. If you are a fully remote student, your cohort is D. And you know, the system of A, B, C, and then E is Thursday, F is Friday. We sent out yesterday, if I can just ask people to mute if possible, so we don't have any feedback, that would be helpful. But we want to make sure that when you get your programs on Monday via Pupil Path, you'll be able to see, yes, all of my classes have an A in them. That means I'm only, you know, that's the way it should be, and that means you come on Monday. We did send out emails to our families with our email addresses to indicate the assigned day. If you have any questions about that, please reach out to the guidance counselor. We're still working on things, so don't panic if you didn't get that email. I also did a phone message last night, again, indicating whether you were cohort A on Mondays, cohort B on Tuesdays, C Wednesdays, etc. We will have about 500 or so students every day in the building. That is well under our capacity, so we hope things go well. And all of our students will want to come back with this blended model later. You'll be able to change to blended late October. But again, everything is fixed as far as the blended model now. If you choose to change that to remote, you can still do that. And again, we're making program changes as we go along. And the goal is to have you get access to your class schedule, all the periods of your day, either 1 through 7, 2 through 8, 3 through 9, or 4 through 10. We have 4 sessions this year because we still need 10 periods to spread out all of our students. We'll be sharing the bell schedule with you, so you'll know the exact schedule. Once you get your program, you'll be able to follow along. And we're expecting all students to follow the bell schedule. So if I start first period, I need to log into Google Classroom for my first period class, And if it's a day where my teacher is live, either from the classroom or somewhere else, I'm logging into that Google Meet at that time. So we're really expecting students to follow their program. There are 6 minutes in between every period. That's time to get around the building to the next location safely. It's also enough time to log out of one Google Meet and log on to the next one and maybe grab a snack at the same time. So again, we'll be sharing that bell schedule with you, and particularly for our families, you'll be able to see what the beginning of the day looks like and the end time, depending on which session your child falls into. At this time, we are, just focusing on getting the building, with programs underway. We do expect to insert all of the different things that we offer as far as clubs and the extracurriculars. We plan on a lot of things that make Fort Hamilton special to be resumed. But like I said, we're just, the month of September is getting settled in, and then we'll go from there to have those extra things that we know really enrich everything about experiences at Fort Hamilton. And I know our staff are ready and eager to get all of those things started too. I'm basically going to sign off and say we're happy to have you. I look forward to meeting you in the building. And in some cases, maybe visiting your Google Meets with your teachers. But we're going to do our best to provide as much live instruction as possible. We're going to ask for your patience as we, kind of work with our technology capacity in the building. There are lots of things, we can't test until you actually come in and help us know how many people can be on, laptops all at the same time on the internet. So we're trying to work out as many of those things as possible before you join us on the 21st. And before I'll sign off, I'll just say a couple of things about what you're going to be getting on Monday. You'll be getting an email that tells you the bell schedule and the different session schedules. You should be able to activate your Gmail account no later than Monday the 14th. After 3 p.m., you will get you'll log into PupilPath and you'll see your schedule. Things are so tight, we're going to ask you to do your very, very best to work with the schedule that you're assigned. Mrs. Mancini will talk a little bit more about that. But in terms of the schedule on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, the 16th through the 18th, again, we'll send out a schedule about that, but you'll get an invitation from your teachers. All periods will meet over those 3 days, and there are different lessons that different content areas will address over those 3 days. It's an abbreviated day for students, so again, depending on your schedule, there will be all 10 periods will meet, but they will meet over those 3 days. And we're trying to build in some time for you to get a chance to meet with your counselors as well. So again, have a positive and productive rest of the orientation. And I look forward to meeting all of you in the building. Take care, everybody. And thank you to everybody else who's going to present. Take it away, Mrs. Mancini.
Actually, Mrs. Mancini, I forgot to introduce, after Ms. Houlihan, our student body president, Hannah Puele. Hannah, I want to introduce the 9th graders to their president. So Hannah, would you like to say a few words?
Hi, everyone. My name is Hannah Pulley, and I'm your student government president for this school year. This isn't exactly how I imagined speaking to all of you at the start of your high school career. I imagined standing in front of a full auditorium, speaking to all of you and getting ready to give you a tour of our campus and tell you about student life. But as we've all come to understand as of late, things don't always end up how you imagine them. Nevertheless, I'm really excited to welcome you to Fort Hamilton. Our community lives beyond our physical space, and I hope that you begin to feel that as you listen to what's in store for you in the coming years. For me, the past 3 years have been marked by some of the most important and exciting events in my life. I know that you'll all be able to say that when you look back on your time at Fort Hamilton. My peers and I have taken interesting and challenging classes, engaged in fun extracurricular activities, taken trips around our city and abroad, gotten jobs in Brooklyn and beyond. Although things might not be the same this year, I know I speak for all of the staff and all of my peers in student government when I say that we're doing our best to ensure that this year goes on with as much normalcy as is safe. As a senior, I empathize with what you all must be feeling right now. You're mourning for the loss of an important year of your high school career. You feel uncertain and don't know what is in store for you. You wish that you could just close your eyes and get the normal high school experience that you feel like everyone else got. Although both you and I know that that isn't possible, I hope that we'll all be able to adjust to our new reality and turn this far from ideal situation into a learning experience of its own. Online classes might not be your cup of tea, but they'll help prepare you for the increased responsibility that you'll have in college and career. School activities might not run as usual, but you'll be encouraged to get more involved in your home community. You may miss classmates in person, but you'll become a better communicator and brush up on your technology skills as a result. I know how hard it can be, but I ask you to join me in looking on the bright side of each challenge and disappointment that you face this year. In a normal year, I would have gotten up in front of you and spent all of my time speaking to tell you about all the wonderful things that Fort Hamilton has to offer and giving you my advice on how to best take advantage. In many ways, my advice hasn't changed. I would have told you to get involved with the school community as much as possible by joining clubs and teams. I would have told you to stay engaged and think about how to maximize the meaning and knowledge you can get out of all of your experiences. Things are different, but the core of my advice still stands. Get involved and stay engaged. We will all need to self-motivate and look at the big picture in order to see why our work in the present is imperative for the future. All this being said, I want you to know that you have people in your corner rooting for your success. Fort Hamilton's supportive and nurturing community is here for you. That hasn't changed just because the format of school has been altered. As you embark on your freshman year, an abnormal one at that, keep this fact in the back of your mind and don't hesitate to reach out to your teachers, counselors, or student government with any questions or concerns that you may have. To conclude, I wish you and your families health and safety, and I wish all good things for your next 4 years here. If you have any questions or concerns for me or the student government, we'll all be responding to emails at our new student government email address, which is sgov, that's SGOV, at fthamiltonhs.org. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Okay, Ms. Mancini?
Does everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I was having some technical
Yes.
difficulties. Well, I want to first welcome all of you and just kind of begin by reassuring you that if you're feeling any sort of feelings of anxiety, completely normal. Even us, the administration, have had these feelings throughout this week. So please recognize that that is normal in any transition, and particularly now. So what we do, as we always would have done, to lessen sort of that anxiety, is to identify whoever Lizette is. If you could mute yourself. Maybe Ms. McCarr can mute that person. So what we do to kind of lessen the anxiety is to connect you with your support system. The first people that you will, in terms of encountering with regard to support, are of course the guidance counselors, and then you'll meet your teachers. Now, most of you do not know your program yet, and you don't know who your guidance counselor is. But when you go on People Path and you see your program, on that program, there is a name, and that person is your guidance counselor. That is a person that you are going to reach out to for a whole host of things. First and foremost, if there's a program error, for example, if you were accelerated in middle school and you're sitting in the same class that you should now be sitting in the other class, like for example, accelerated in algebra, and you're sitting in algebra, that's an error. You would communicate that to your guidance counselor. I'll let you know how you'll do that in a minute. If there's any sort of social emotional issues, now just because you're at home, do not think that, oh, well, I'm at home, I don't have to share this issue with someone. Or if you feel that you're not at ease, we still have a mechanism for you to contact us. It can be via People Path, it can be a phone call, because we are here. All staff members are in the building. There are a few that are remote, but even there, you can contact them via Google Voice. There are 4 counselors who are working from home, but they're still responsive with regard to your social emotional well-being. Additionally, the academic support. So if you find that once we begin our term that you are struggling, there is academic support. It'll be built in. Teachers will provide that for you. It may happen remotely, but I ask that you kind of become aware of that. Be very mindful of when it is that you're, when does that struggle begin? The struggle doesn't begin when you get your grade for the first marking period. That's not when the struggle begins, right? The struggle begins perhaps a week or two into the term, and you're really having difficulty with the content, so you could reach out to your guidance counselor, to the teacher directly, and we'll have those things in place in terms of how do you get extra support for that. Now, with regard to the social emotional, we are going to be pushing in through the English classes. So for those of you who are blended, we will come into the class at 1 day a week. We'll probably begin this in October. And for those of you who are remote, we're going to have opportunities for a Google Meet. That will be, first academic advisement in terms of, making sure that everything is in order with your program, but more importantly, making sure everything is okay with you emotionally. Are you transitioning well? Are you having difficulty? The difficulty could be as simple as, you have some real tech issues, or you need a device. We'll give you sort of that links to get those things. But I want you to become mindful. I'm sure that this word you've heard before, but I need you to really sort of do a self-check. I know that we're all supposed to, and we will expect for you all, especially the blended students who are coming in, to do a temperature check. But I suggest that we do not only a temperature check, but also sort of a wellness check, right? How are you feeling? Are you, feeling this way just because it's a new school building, or is this gone on for a few weeks? In which case, please let us know. But we will be reaching out to you remotely if we note that you're not participating, if you're not engaged. So all of that we will continue to monitor as we did in the spring term. So we've had a little experience with the remote learning experience. So you should know that we will still notice you. We will notice if you're not engaged. We will even become annoying to the point because we want you to be engaged, right? We're not going to pretend that you're not here. And even if you're not in the blended model, you not participating in the remote model is you not being here. So we will call you, we will call parents. We will probably have Google Meet if the parent prefers to do that, phone conferences, and if there's a real need, it would be by appointment to re-engage you. Academic advisement will begin towards the end of October. Again, if you are fully remote, do not worry. We will reach out to you. If you are in person, you'll have that opportunity to meet with the counselor in person to discuss some of the academic needs, particularly programming and things like that. I'm going to be sending out a Pupil Path message. If there are errors on your program, again, as I said before, if you're accelerating, you're sitting in the wrong class, there will be a link. It's a form, you complete it. It's called FORT Program Request, but I'll give it to you. You don't have to memorize it. If you check Pupil Path, and Pupil Path is very important that you check regularly, you'll have that there. If you need other things, like, you need assistance with CareMonkey, or if you need assistance with creating a Pupil Path account, there's a FORT Assist link, and you put down what your needs are. So there'll be a very sort of centralized, very efficient way for your questions to be answered and resolved. So again, my only ask of you is that you become aware, that you are mindful of what you need, and that you ask. That's it. Because if you do that and you put yourself in a position to be able to be helped, this will be okay. You will be able to transition to this form of learning, which will not be forever. I keep on saying this too shall pass, and it will. It'll be something that we will tell our grandchildren many years from now about this whole global pandemic. But it will make you and us stronger. So once again, welcome. And if there's any need, please reach out either to myself or to your counselor. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Mancini. So I'm going to just briefly talk about the instructional model. Many of you have sent me questions over the summer about your summer math assignment and your summer reading assignment, and I'm sure you guys are still on top of all of those. When I'm done speaking, I'll drop my email in the chat if you had any other instructional questions. But as all of the speakers before me have said, we know that this is a start to a school year like no other school year. We're living through history, but we are still going to hold our students to the same standard for high academic achievement that we have expected of all students that have been here since I've been the assistant principal of math for 5 years. Students who are fully remote should expect to receive live instruction every day in every course. Students who are blended will receive instruction in person on their assigned day. And when you are home, you will still have contact with your teachers. There will still be assignments for you in all your classes. And 2 or 3 times a week, there will also be a live stream lesson taught from the classroom by your teacher. As Ms. Houlihan said, even though you're not physically in the building, you're still expected to sign into your class for the regular time. So if your math class meets 5th period, you'll sign on, you will check your assignment. There will be a live chat going on in the Google Stream. You'll engage in the discussion. You'll be able to know what your classmates who are in the physical classroom are doing. On the topic of discussion, our instructional program is focused on questioning and discussion, and we're not going to change that in this new model. So in the physical classroom, those students cannot be seated in groups. We still expect that students are going to be engaging in meaningful discussion with one another. And in the virtual classrooms, we're setting up our routines and norms of how we expect to have very rich conversations and questions generated in those classrooms, just as we've been doing in our physical classrooms over the past few years. We are also going to have for you guys your schedules on when you're going to have your live streamed classes, what you should expect assessments to look like in every class. And we're also going to be organizing our Google Classrooms to help you guys stay organized at home. All right. So getting back into a routine, having structure, and staying organized are always important for your academic success. And right now, the assistant principals and all of your teachers are working on how we're going to support you guys in doing that. In anyone who's in the performing arts, I looked at some of the questions from the Google form that you guys had filled out prior to this meeting. So there were a lot of questions about performances, and everything is going to be done with safety first. So whatever performances can safely be done together is what we'll be doing. And you'll also be playing virtually with one another. All right. So just because you're not in the physical classroom, right, you're still going to be a part of your performance group. I'm going to drop my email in the chat because as I'm looking, I see a lot of questions popping up. A question that came up before that I do want to address before I just drop my email is if teachers are going to be flexible. And I think this year, as with the spring, we all have to be flexible. All right. We all have to be understanding of one another. Everyone has a different circumstance that they're working in this year. So while we do expect your attendance in your physical and virtual classrooms, we are still understanding of everyone's unique situation, and your individual teachers will continue to work with you to ensure that you're receiving the instruction that you need, that you're going to master the content, and that you're submitting work to kind of show off everything you know and how much you've been learning. I'm going to drop my email in the chat now. So if there are any more specific questions about our instructional model, you guys can shoot me an email. I saw some questions about honors classes and any other questions you have about the summer assignments. And without further ado, I am going to now introduce our AP of Security, Mr. Kozlowski.
Hi, Ms. Minucci. Can you hear me? Ms. Minucci, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Minucci, first and foremost, for organizing this orientation. Did a great job. It's as many people have said, it's much different than what we did in the past. In the past, many years that I've been working with the orientation, we would start at 9 o'clock, and sometimes we wouldn't leave until 2 or 3 o'clock after giving out Metro cards and ID cards. So this is a lot different, a lot shorter than it has been in the past years. But that's where we're at, and we make the best with what we can do. In terms of safety and security, as Ms. Minucci said, some things haven't changed. We're still going to make sure that all our staff and students are safe, secure, and orderly inside the building. with regular rules and regulations that have been in place for many, many years, such as, not using cell phones in the building, not listening to AirPods or headphones in the building, not wearing hats in the building, coming to school dressed appropriately, coming to school with books, getting to class on time, things of that nature, respecting everyone. Those things will never change and are not changing this year. Some things are changing this year, and first of all, last year at times there were 4,200 students in this building. Now we're talking about maybe 500 students in the building, so that's a big change. So the building's not going to be nearly as crowded as it used to be. So as a result, when we talk about social distancing, we should be able to handle that a little bit better. And we're going to start doing social distancing as soon as you get onto the school property, okay? Which means when you enter the gates from 83rd Street or 85th Street, there will be agents out there to make sure that there's social distancing going on. We asked the custodian to put markers down on the sidewalk leading to the main doors of the building to maintain at least 6 feet apart. The way to come into the building will be through the main doors. We will have 6 cash machines to swipe you into the building. Some of you know from your junior high schools that in order to enter the building, you have to swipe an ID card. This is what it looks like, and this is what you'll be getting in the next few days. So we're going to have all those machines out there so you can space out appropriately. On the steps markings as well, so please maintain that distance. Also, once you come onto the school property, we're going to ask that you have your face covering on, whether that's a surgical mask or a bandana or things of that nature. You have to have a face covering on school property and in the building as well. So when you come in, and then like I said, when you're coming in, you're going to swipe your card in. We're going to make sure that you have books with you, that you're not wearing any clothing that might be vulgar or threatening or offend anyone. We're going to make sure that you have books. We're going to make sure that you put your phone away, your headphones away, and come into the building. Miss Mancini said that we will be doing random temperature taking for students as they come into the building. So they will be placed on a separate line, and you will be asked to go over to a wall-mounted temperature gauge where you will have stand next to it. The temperature will read out, and as long as your temperature is under 100 degrees, you will be good to go. Okay, so you get into the building like that. As I stated, we have 4 entry periods. Period 1, 7:20. Period 2, 8 o'clock. Period 3, 8:40. And then 9 o'clock, around 9 o'clock as well. So everybody's got to come in through those main lobbies and come in. So you come in, and then when you notice in the building you come in, there's going to be our hallways are about 10 feet wide. So that allows us to have students walking in both directions as long as you walk single file. So you can't really walk next to each other, because if 2 people walk next to each other on one side and 2 people walk next to each other on the other side, it's no longer 6 feet. So in order to have that traffic going in 2 directions, you have to stay 6 feet apart, okay, single file against the wall. And if we do that, we'll be able to maintain the traffic going in 2 directions. If not, then it's going to, traffic going in one direction in the hallway, and on the other side, the other way, it's going to be very difficult for people to get around the building. So we want to do that. We have 8 staircases in the building. The 2 end ones at the end of the hallway. Our building is really shaped like an H. Very easy to remember. H for Hamilton. So we have the long side, which faces the field, our athletic field, Colonial Road side. And then we have the other long stretch that we have faces the water, the Shore Road side. And connecting these two sides, we have our bridges. One bridge is closer to 83rd Street. Another bridge is closer to 85th Street on the first and second floor. Third floor, we only have one bridge. But all the bridges will also have directional arrows as well along the floor and the whole, along the wall as well. So the two staircases at the end of each long hallway will be going up. Some will be going down. The four in the middle, we have the capacity of going up and down. But again, you must walk in one direction only and 6 feet apart from each other. So that's how we're going to maintain our safety procedures in the building. The face covering, the 6 feet apart, taking of temperature, and the traffic patterns that we have in the building as well. You'll get on to your classroom. Each class is 40 minutes long. We're going to have 6 minutes for passing. Usually we have 4 minutes for 4,000 students, but now we're going to have 6 minutes for 500 students. And the reason we're increasing the passing is that we can stagger some of the parts of the building getting out earlier than others. This way we even decrease the traffic in the building even more. For instance, I mentioned the H floor plan, but we also have the 2 modules extending out of the first floor onto Shore Road. One is called the 83rd Street module, which contains social studies classes, and the other one is called the 85th Street module because it's close to 85th Street. It contains a foreign language and English language learners module as well. Those 2 modules will probably be staggered, where one leaves the hall, the classrooms a minute before the other ones. So we have those items in place. If a student does take the temperature and it is above 100 degrees, we will have to escort that student to the isolation room, ask our school nurse, of which we have 2, to come in and evaluate the student and see if there's symptoms of COVID or not. If there are, then they remain in the isolation room. Your family is called, the family is called to pick you up, to take you to your doctor or testing site. And when you come back with the clearance from the doctor, you'll be able to re-enter the building. So we have that going on. Bathrooms will be open throughout the day in the building, something new. We always close them during passing in the first and last 10 minutes of every period, but because we want to reduce the crowding and make the bathrooms available for hand washing as well, they will be open throughout the day, as long in even passing, as long as we can maintain social distancing. During passing, it may be a little bit difficult, but we ask all of you to maintain that distancing. The bathrooms will be monitored by staff members, so please listen to them. If during passing it becomes unsustainable and too crowded, we'll have to close down the bathrooms during passing and just keep them open during class time. During class time, if you do need to use the restroom, you have to write out a pass. In the past, we had a custom-made wooden plastic pass for teachers with their names on them, and the student would just grab them with the teacher's permission and go to the bathroom or go to the principal's office or the dean's office or the guidance office. That's different now, okay? You shouldn't be walking around the building unless it is an emergency. And if you do have to leave the building during class time, rather than picking up a wooden pass or a plastic pass with the teacher's name on it, you'll just take an 8.5 and 11 piece of paper and write your name, the teacher's name, the time, the date, where you're going, and where you're coming from. And then you can go on to the restroom. And again, there you'll just wait for the hall monitor to allow you to go in if there are people already in there. So that's what's going on with the bathrooms. Excuse me. As far as food goes, we are discouraging, prohibiting, if you will, eating food in the classrooms. Okay, we want to respect the teachers' request for that and their concern about safety issues. So I really want to, eliminate the eating in the classroom. You're always free to bring in food from home, just no glass bottles. We will also have grab and go bags in the morning when you come in, whether that's a bag containing breakfast or a bag containing lunch. And then we'll have grab and go bags outside the cafeteria in the basement throughout the day. So throughout the day, as you're walking to and from classes, if you want to pick up a bag of food, you can do that. And also, if you're leaving, that same location will have bags of food for you, so you can leave out the building and grab a bag to go as well. But again, we don't want students eating in the classroom. So where would you eat? Well, most of you will have gym classes outside. Okay, and if you have gym classes outside, that would be a great place to take a bite of food or drink or what have you, is outside when you have those, we call them polar bear classes, and that's where you would have your take your bite to eat. If for some reason you don't have a polar bear class, or your classes were too early or too late in the afternoon, and you feel the need and you feel that you have to have a bite to eat, you would get a pass from your teacher, come down to the cafeteria, and we have tables set up for 5-minute, 10-minute at most seating arrangement, socially distanced, supervised by staff member, where you, with permission from your teacher, to sit down, get a bite to eat in a grab and go bag, and then return to class if you feel it's totally necessary for you to eat. We feel that food and nutrition is a vital part to your education and keeping you healthy. So we want to give you that availability. But at the same time, we want you to be respectful of the staff members in the building and, be cautious in terms of spreading any virus as well. So we ask you to please maintain that. Just again, we ask you to maintain the mask throughout the building and social distancing. In terms of discipline, I mentioned the hats, the headphones and stuff, but in terms of COVID discipline, you have to keep that mask on, okay? If you take it off, we will find out about it. The teacher will call for assistance. We'll have to speak to you, call up the parents. Students cannot walk around this building without a face covering, okay? And if there's blatant disregard for that, then we will ask students to go to remote learning. So we're going to take that very seriously. I know your parents want us to take that very seriously. The teachers are taking it very seriously. So we want you to as well. So please abide by those rules, the face covering, the social distancing, not eating in the classroom. And if that becomes too difficult for you, then the option will be remote learning. So, be advised about that. Leaving the building, you always enter the building through the main doors only, the main lobby again. You'll have your ID card. I'll talk about that in a little while. But leaving the building, we leave onto Shore Road, through the Shore Road exits. And on Shore Road, we just had to send a request to the buses to change the pickup time of our students, so hopefully they get it done in time. But there should be buses on Shore Road taking you up to 4th Avenue to the subway and other destinations. But everybody will leave out of the building through the 5 exits at exit 10 and 1 exit at delivery. So we have 6 exits for you to leave the building after your day's done. So there should be no need for crowding up on each other and not maintaining that 6-foot distance. Once you're out of the building, again, unfortunately, there are no clubs, no teams at this point, and certainly no teams. Everyone should be leaving the building and headed on to their destination. I spoke about ID cards. We're going to be creating ID cards this Monday and Tuesday from 9 to 1 p.m. Ms. McCarr, our parent coordinator, will be sending out a email, if she already hasn't done so, inviting all blended. At this time, we're just asking blended students because, again, we want to maintain our social distancing, if you will, and that creates it an easier procedure if we have only the blended students come in. Blended students will come in through 85th Street gate, walk towards Shore Road, and you see a ramp going down to the basement. That's a delivery ramp, and that's where you will come down and we will provide you with an ID card. Again, we will be sending out a specific schedule. So for instance, over the 2 days, the first group will be students whose last name begins with A and C. They will come in between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning. So on and so forth through Monday and Tuesday. And again, you need that ID card in order to come into the building. It makes it much easier. But as many of you know, if you do not have an ID card, don't worry about it. As long as you have your OSIS number, your 9-digit ID number, we will punch it into the CAS machine for you. It will print you a temporary paper ticket, and that will be your ID card for the day. If you don't get your ID card on Monday and Tuesday, no worries. We will be available after your school day, either in my office, room 154, or in the student cafeteria, where we will have somebody ready, willing, and able to give you, to make an ID card for you. But again, at this time, we are just asking students who are coming to school, blended students, to come in. Remote students, we will set up dates and times. We have a lot of time to do that. We will do that in the near future. But in order to maintain social distancing, we are asking only Monday and Tuesday throughout the day, and only blended students. Ms. McCall will send that out. As far as Metro cards go, we're looking to give out Metro cards on the first day of school in your 4th period class. Again, we have 4 periods of entry, so that means that everybody should be in the building during 4th period. We will have staff going around and distributing the Metro cards during that 4th period class on the first day of school, the 21st. Students who were not present on that day, or for some reason got programmed into that class late and were not on the original class list, no worries. Again, after your school day, room 154, my office, or the student cafeteria, and we will get you that ID card, create an ID card for you, and give you that Metro card. I think as far as staff goes, again, I'm the assistant principal of security. We have 5 assistant principals of administration. Again, the school on register with 4,700 students. So we have an AP organization, an AP programming, an AP guidance, which Ms. Mancini, you heard, and an AP of data and compliance. I'm the AP of security. And then along with that, we have the AP of supervision, of which I believe there are 8 of: English, math, science, history, languages, so forth and so on. So I do the security, and I work with numerous deans in the building. They're all great people, willing to help at any time and come to the rescue when you need something. Come to the teachers' rescue as well. We have safety agents as well that are in the building. We have school aides whose sole purpose is to maintain safety and security. You'll see them all in the hallway along with the deans, myself, the other assistant principals, making sure that you're walking single file against the wall, masks on, 6 feet away. Okay, we have to maintain that. So you'll see all of us in the hallways as well. We also have numerous, we just got an upgrade last year on our video camera system. So we have extensive camera system in the building as well for safety, both inside and outside the building as well. So, you know, normally safety concerns would be different than they are this year. This year, our main focus is, you know, stopping the spread of the COVID-19 virus, something that we all to do and need to do. So I think without any speaking anymore, again, you're lucky, because if it was a regular year, I think I would go on talking for about another hour. So that's one good thing at least. But anyway, thank you all very much for your attention. I look forward to seeing you, some of you, Monday and Tuesday. After that, the 21st, and eventually, God willing, we'll all meet together again at Fort Hamilton High School, which I really think is one of the best schools in the entire city of New York. So thank you very much. Ms. Minucci, I'll hand it back to you. Thank you again, Ms. Minucci.
All right. So the last item we have is I'm going to present to you guys a virtual tour of the school for anyone who didn't get to see it at Welcome Night in June. And bear with me because I'm just getting used to the present function on Google Meet. I used a lot of the Zoom last year. Okay. All right. Do you guys see the screen? Yep. All right.
Welcome to the Fort Hamilton High School virtual tour. As you enter the field side entrance into the lobby, you will have to swipe your ID to enter. The school has bridges on the first, second, and third floor, which bring you between the Shore Road side and field side of the building. You can get to the basement by using the staircases on either side of the lobby. On this side of the basement is the arts wing. Many of the school's music and dance classes meet in this wing. Traveling down the ramp will bring you to the student cafeteria. You have to swipe your ID to get into the cafeteria, so there's sometimes a line, but keep orderly and it moves pretty quickly. In the other wing of the basement, we have room B64, which houses leadership and student government. Stop there if you ever have any questions. The weight training room is also in this wing. Right around the corner is our pool and fitness room. As we head up to the field side first floor, we will see one of the two gymnasiums on this floor. Also, room 145 contains many offices, including the deans and parent coordinator. The principal's office is room 158. To the left, you can see our two main bulletin boards, which are changed regularly to inform you of important events. In between the first floor and the basement is the promenade. Sometimes you may have PE here. Right through the lobby is the Lawrence Lorenzano Performing Arts Theater, where you can catch our many shows. As we enter the second floor field side, you can see the stairs leading up to the boys' locker room. You should also notice the polar bear signs that let the outdoor classes know if they are inside or outside for that day. Also on the second floor is our ceramics room, which is just one of the many visual arts classes that are offered at Fort. The second floor is the location of our nurse's office, and another physical education space, the yoga room. The girls' locker room is at the end of the hallway. The third floor is full of many classrooms, including our virtual enterprise room. The third floor is also the only floor that has classrooms on the bridge. As we cross from the field side to the Shore Road side, you can admire the many murals. Both the English and Science office are on the third floor Shore Road side. The second floor Shore Road side is home to many classrooms as well as the Fort Hamilton Alumni Hall of Fame and the library. Along with having many books and magazines, the library is also equipped with laptops for students to use and a computer center in the back for library lessons. The library is full with great resources, great staff, and a great view. As we head to the first floor Shore Road side, you can see the steps going to the 83rd Street module, also known as the Social Studies module. In this hallway, we have the two main bathrooms for use on the first floor. Exit 10 is the main way to leave the building when your day is done. It will leave you on Shore Road in order to pick up a bus, or you can walk up the avenue to another destination. If you are a member of JROTC, you will take the stairs down to the basement on this side of the building. At the end of the hallway, we will head down to the 85th Street module, also known as the Language module. The module's room numbers start with an 8. The 83rd Street modules have room numbers in the 830s and 840s, and the 85th modules have room numbers in the 850s and 860s. The tour wouldn't be complete without mentioning our brand new track and field. We hope you enjoyed your virtual tour of Fort Hamilton. Pretty soon it will be your real second home.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry. My computer's freezing up because of the size of the meeting. There we go. All right. Thank you, everyone, for all your warm and cool feedback on the technology of our video. I just want to assure you, you will maybe get lost the first few days, but then just like any new place you've ever, thank you, Sarah, thank you. Just like any new place you've ever been, you will get used to it. And before you know it, this will become your home away from home. And all the blended kids, you will get to learn the building quicker than any other freshman because you're only going to be sharing it with like 100 other kids a day. So don't worry. All right. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your day. And I dropped my email in the chat. You can also find it in the website if you have any more questions about instruction. Hannah, I'll see you in a few minutes on the next meet. Bye, guys.
Thank you.